The bounty hunters. All right, before we go into the next section, you boys have to be well and truly prepared for the sheer amount of fuck you're about to see. Hoagie warns them all as the bulkhead door to the next big chunk of the station opens wide. Out of the farming section, the hivers, the food production center of the station, Mustard asks as they all walk in. You remember how I said that a uniform is fetish wear around here? Yes. I got my stupid self turned around early on and was wearing my formals. I was heading to the posh place and ended up in the hivers. You got jumped without backup, Mr. T says in a horrified tone. I got a 200-strong train pulled on me by an unending conga line of psychopathic midgets. By the time I got through all 200, the first bitch recovered and wanted another round. Took me 96 hours to finish up with them, and I can tell you I've taken softer hits from meteors. Hoagie explains, and all four men stare at him. The fuck? Bike demands over the communicator. Oh, so everyone heard that? Hoagie asks. Yes, soldier. Do you need rescue? Pukey demands. No, but if your boys react badly, they might. The girls are much calmer now, but they've claimed every inch of my ass as private property, meaning they will jump me the moment they know I'm in the section. Furthermore, it's a shady hive, meaning that when I called them psychopathic midgets, I was neither misspeaking nor exaggerating. These girls got a mean streak as long as the range of their guns, and they go nowhere without enough firepower to ruin your day. Holy shit, J3 says. It's not all bad. Sharbus are aggressive to the point of parody but loyal beyond death, and all 200 of them will jump in front of a bullet for me without a second thought. A solid 25 of them work internal systems in the station, and the rest run a massive food-producing industry that provides a full 2% of the station's nutrients. It might not sound like much, but remember we've got millions. 175 girls are feeding one out of every 50 people here. Nice. So, what's the plan? Mr. T asks. We'll be jumped on the way to the metal exchanger. Just let it happen. Don't go for your guns. Keep your voices level and don't be an idiot. You can fight back if they start throwing punches, but if you start something, the whole gang goes hostile and they'll bring the entire extended family, so you gotta deal with thousands, and my in-laws are fucking evil. We're going to be jumped? Mr. T asks, stressing the word we're. I'm going to be jumped. Hoagie corrects as the bulkhead to the hivers slowly opens. It's not bad, it's Sharbus, or these ones at any rate, have two settings which are asleep and completely insane. You're about to see insane. Oh please, you're just exaggerating at this point, J3 says. I'm calling bullshit. Oh? Well, get ready to eat your words. We're a few blocks away from the exchanger anyways, Hoagie says, as the slightly warm and very breezy atmosphere of the hivers washes over them all. There's a huge number of scents on the breeze, and it reminds more than a few of them of both farms and forests. Homie, Itchy remarks. Not a bad place, Hoagie admits. Especially if you want the good food. There are a lot of things that only need a little salt and pepper to be amazing, and most of it's available in bulk here. He leads them to a public lift, and they go up 5 stories, and then the path starts to go across numerous walkways with flowers hanging over the side. What are these for anyways? Cross-pollination. All sorts of plants in the agricultural deck can use flower pollen to trigger reproduction. There's also, Hoagie begins explaining before a yellow and black blur tackles him to the ground. The blur reveals itself to be a 3-foot woman with her tongue down his throat and rapidly buzzing wings. He pushes her back and grins. Hey babe. Husband, she coos while kicking at his belt buckle to loosen it. You boys better get moving. 3 buildings down on the left, Hoagie tells them. You sure you're... Mr. T begins before a massive, ominous buzzing fills the air. They're here. Run! Hoagie exclaims as the determined midget gets his pants off and recaptures his tongue in time for another 10 to dogpile them both with a cheer of excitement. The rest of the guys slowly edge along the far side of the walkway and then break into a dead run when another 20 show up and dive in before going for their guns to present a wall of lethal hardware. A safe distance away, the gang bang cranks up to an utterly surreal level as what looks like a tornado hits the walkway composed entirely of short-stack bee women, each and every one of them visibly and unquestionably armed with something deadly. The pile rapidly overtakes the entire walkway and grows to be at least a story and a half tall as the four men watch in utter shock. Well, shit. Glad I didn't make any kind of bet because that would have been a loss for me. Mustard remarks as he looks down the way and sees a store advertising a trade of metal for credits exactly 3 buildings down. His directions are good at least. Yay, but should we go back for him? I mean, Jesus, Itchy says, scratching the back of his head as he vaguely watches the buzzing, shifting swarm even as clothes are being thrown out of it. He's a grown man. I get the feeling that if he really wanted out, those flashbangs would have already put those girls on notice, J3 says, and there's just another's moment hesitation before they turn and walk towards the currency exchange. They're not 2 buildings down when a flash of white light gets them all to turn. The buzzing hive of horny bee women are staggering away from the figure rising up from the center. Several fall off and more buzz away into the air in a daze. Hoagie's saying something to them as he collects his clothes and calmly dresses himself before slowly walking over to the rest of the guys. Dude, you are officially in an abusive marriage, Itchy says. I swear to God it's not as bad as it looks, Hoagie insists. I don't believe it, Mr. T says. Dude, they like it rough, and to be honest, if it wasn't for the bad timing, I'd be giving them all surprises as they're stunned because that's the kind of freaky they go for, Hoagie says. I do not want to know and resent you bringing it up in any capacity, Mr. T says, and Hoagie just rolls his eyes. Fine, you virgin. Let's just get things done so I can get to nail the bitch fucking with me to the wall and get into my next 201 way. I said I do not want to know, Mr. T half shouts at him and receives a cackle in return. God damn you. You're not the first and won't be the last to say that, Hoagie replies as he strides past everyone and all but shoulder checks the door to the exchanger open. Hello, Mitch. Yes, it's me. Yes, it's bad news. Fuck. Yes, indeed, Hoagie exclaims, and everyone else piles in to see a Tret woman beginning to bang her head on the counter. And what is the history here? Mustard asks with a fascinated eyebrow. A long streak of bad luck with me as the messenger. Mitch. Some stupid bitch bribed the twin shots I hired to watch the possible riot in Deck 1 to take the shot regardless. They bounced the money through Nebula View in the next deck over and we tracked it back here. We need your customer list and cameras, please, and thank you. Fuck. Fucking hell, and wait. Who the hell are those guys? My bribe. No, this is your bribe, Hoagie says, flipping a coin over to her. She grabs it and her eyebrows go up to see the Kutha coin. These guys are the ones running the actual investigation. I'm here to make sure they don't have to wade through a river of blood to get their answers. All right, bribe and threat out of the way. Hey, you with the stupid face. Press the yellow button and everyone follow me into the back. Mitch orders and a bemused Itchy elbows the big yellow button and she walks into the next room. Well, I'm not back here for my own entertainment. Yeah, keep your tits in. We're here for business. Hoagie says, all but waltzing into the back. I wouldn't touch your crazy ass with the business end of a plasma spear. Mitch screeches, and something goes through the air only to be caught by Hoagie. He pockets whatever the hell it was. Well, come on. Hoagie beckons them, and they march into the back to find Mitch poring over a computer and growling. I think she's planning your murder. J3 says, noting some of the curse words under Mitch's breath are aimed squarely at Hoagie. Oh no, if she wanted me dead, I'd be dodging plasma already. This is Deck 4 where no one's being respected like they deserve. Some girls are mellow enough to take it, but it would wear a saint down to the bones. Ah, so just a shit day. Since I'm bad news on legs for a lot of these girls, it was ruined the moment I walked in the door. You damn straight it was human. Stupid sex apes stinking up the place. Do you guys got someone that can sort data in your little friend group? If not, you'll be assaulting my nose for a while, Mitch says. We've got a hacker on the team. He's listening in through my communicator, Mr. T says, holding it out, and Mitch grabs it from him before hooking it up to her computer and uploading a file. There, I've got about a week's worth of business in there. Now get out. I need to spray this place down or there's going to be messes all over, Mitch says, and they all turn to leave. Put some hustle in it. Out, out, out. She shoves them all out the door as a unit and leaves them on the street moments from laughter. Is the whole sector like this? No. I just personally know all the fun people. There's a mellow population that outnumbers the interesting ones 30-1. Hoagie replies. It's something all right. Bike, you got what you need? Mr. T asks into his communicator. Yeah, there's just a lot to sort through. I'm tagging in some help to try and speed things up. So what's going on and who's the swarm bait? A voice asks, and Mustard flinches away from the midget bee woman that was hovering an inch over his head, and he did not sense. The fact that she's dressed like she came off stage of a heavy metal band complete with chains and a cartoonishly huge rifle holstered between her wings that somehow doesn't impair her ability to fly is disconcerting to say the least. The twin shots I hired to keep an eye of the possible riot in Sector 1 got paid off by some bitch who had them open fire. Now we've got a potential riot that may end up with a whole section open to raw space, and we're trying to find out who's responsible so we can stick their head on a spike and hopefully calm everyone down with a little blood sacrifice. How's your day been, babe? Made some sales, kicked some ass, got some sugar. Pretty good. Any idea who you're going to be throwing out an airlock? Not yet. We're still hunting. Unless they've already left the station, then they're dead. They just don't know it. Oh, so Hoagie's some great hunter? Mustard asks, and she looks at him weird. No, but my man doesn't stop till he's done. Says it's a human thing. That it is. When humans think great hunter, we think about someone who doesn't have to wait, because if we have to, everyone will just keep hammering away at a problem until we have an answer. There we go. We got a name, a face, and a ship. Katniss Evergreen, a BFC 0100s-1, also called a Floric. Looks like someone crossed a fly trap with a jack-o'-lantern and shoved the gourd onto some poor woman's head. She came in on the Deep Desire, which is still docked in Sector 7. If this is because Plant Bitch got hungry, I'm going to roast her over a spit, Hoagie mutters with a twitching eye. Hungry? Mr. T asks, not sure if he wants the answer. The Plant Bitches eat people, Hoagie's wife replies. They just don't get it that meat that can talk isn't to be eaten. Hell, I asked my baby daddy here what it would take for him to touch one with anything but a weapon, and he said a blood alcohol level so high that his breath would cause it to wither. And I meant every word. You want me to touch that thing with something other than a knife or a bullet, then I'm going to need a full barrel of whiskey first. I don't blame you. Why would a plant alien even be shaped like that anyways? J3 asks. 'Cause they're like any woman they like to fuck. Problem is that they don't discriminate between love bites and bite bites. Only safe way to do one is to rip off the head. The Sharby remarks. The fuck? They can survive decapitation, and it's actually their main method of reproduction. The body grows a new head with a new personality in a month, and the head grows a new body in a year. The body can even sustain and start the growth of a baby during that time, and can you even imagine how messed up this gets? Hoagie demands. I don't want to keep talking about this, J3 says. Did you know that the only way to make more Floric is to rip the head off? If they get the big D, then they'll just produce more members of whatever was stupid enough to fuck them. Meaning that most of the time the baby needs to be rescued after it was born, because as we said before, Floric think all meat is for munching, Mrs. Eastman says. and there's a shudder that passes around the collected men. Hoagie included, because that's something you do not like to be reminded of. Fine, I get it. We followed the trail and found a complete psychopath from a species of complete psychopaths. Let's just hunt the bitch down, put her to the screws and see if it goes any further, or if we're throwing her into a wood chipper, okay? Itchy demands and Hoagie nods. Can I come? This looks like fun. You guys are staying put. We're going to be taking a look into Ms. Evergreen. We're closer. If the trail bounces again, we'll let you know. Pukey orders and Hoagie lets out a groan. Fine, standing by. Oh, his Charby wife groans.